Alright, well, we do have Portuguese versus British, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first game in this best of 3 series between H2O, Taunt 31 indeed, and
yeah, that's ringing in my ears a
720.
bit too much.
It's quite loud, isn't it? As I mentioned, game number 1, round of 64. The first map is New England, spawning in the north of the map. In the colour, I can't see just yet. Oh, this is not New England. This is, I know, Andriax?
I think it's pronounced Adirondax, but don't quote me on that. I think it's somewhere in America or Canada, so we can be forgiven. We're probably not too familiar with the geography around there, to be honest.
Yeah, we're ignorant Brits, right? So no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this map I believe was made by one of our ESOC map makers. Obviously, I'm not sure which one. Maybe it was Gaia, Durdakan, and Rakikipu. Those are the 3 that are currently making maps, I believe.
One of our residents, anyway. But I really like this map, actually. Well, I mean, one of the main kind of things we've been seeing on it is that you got to play pretty aggressive, and map control is very important, just because it's kind of a smallish map.
Yeah, short rush distance, absolutely.
Yeah. So so far, Portugal and Russia, I think, have been the most popular civilizations on this map. Russia, of course, because you can just block house to the middle, and that cuts off so many resources. But even though Portugal isn't considered one of the most aggressive civs, just the town centre itself, takes up so much of the map, which is why I think H2O went into this just planning on playing ports, whatever.
Yeah. And playing Portuguese, absolutely. Going to get that town centre, as you mentioned, going to be really nice in this sort of centre location on this fairly short rush distance map, where the players are starting towards the bottom, really, which means a lot of the top half of the map is kind of cut off, but is harder to access, perhaps. So that town centre going to provide huge amounts of map control, and absolutely could be the reason why he did pick this civ. But some excellent explorer creeping coming out of H2O early on there. We did see him, he's not done very much exploring at all, but did manage to pick up a 90 food treasure very, very well, and moving on to this 40 food treasure as well, which is going to be really nice. Going to get up nice and early with the Portuguese here. On the other hand, though, Naruto taking what I would describe as a fairly strange scouting pattern. If you push Control-Shift-F, we can see that. But here he is, the British player. What do you think he's up to? What's he looking for? Does anything spawn up there?
That is a bit of an odd pattern. Yeah, you can get some nice treasures up there, but I don't see him managing to take away much from H2O in Age 1. I feel like H2O is going to take this series, even though he's only playing against someone who's a first lieutenant. He's going to take this series very seriously. He always does. Yeah, and so he's not going to let anything kind of slip by him. But I think just as Red, just taking a random scouting pattern is probably just one of the best things you can do against Ryan. If you've seen some of his streams, one of the things he complains about the most is an enemy explorer being where they shouldn't be because of a bad scouting pattern. So actually, I think taking a bad scouting pattern is probably quite a smart move.
Well, against H2O, because it'll trigger him and he'll get a bit angry at it.
It will, yeah. He can't understand why your explorer is in a location that it shouldn't be. So actually, I don't mind this, and he might come across some nice treasures. Yeah. At the moment, it hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah, sadly, it's worked out not at all in his favour. H2O picking up another 90 food there. Look at that, almost 700 food. Oh, that's Naruto. No, H2O is well above the 800 food mark. Look at that, already like at least a third aged there. And his opponent hasn't even started aging by the looks of it. He's now researching Gangsaw by the looks of it before he's got his age up in queue. Perhaps that's because he's waiting for a final villager to pop. Yeah, there's the age up going in queue just now.
Yeah, but so H2O's town centre is going to be up so fast. There's no way Naruto's going to be able to challenge that. And so I imagine Ryan, he's just going to bring his town centre up to the middle and either put it next to his hunt or the mine in the middle. But it'll be next to the trade post, so he can defend the trading post.
Yeah, he could even herd the hunt onto that mine and the trading post and make the town centre even more valuable there. But yeah, looks like this is going to be the first treasure that Naruto is going to pick up outside of the ones that were in his base. That 30 coin and 40 XP does now just pick up that first 60 food. Lots of food treasures on this map. I'm not sure if that's the theme of this map or if it was just this particular spawn. But either way, H2O, I think, clearly, decisively winning the Age 1 there. There's the town centre, and has, of course, just hit up to the second age with the 400 with the quartermaster politician. Let's see where that town centre heads to. We can see it's already been put down next to that trading post. He's been herding the hunt.
Is he going to try and block it? Sorry to interrupt you, but I thought
No,
Red
that's
was going to go for the block there.
I'm glad you bring
That
that
would've
up.
been really nice.
He might be looking for it. He's certainly in hand combat, and he's not.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, he gets a little bit of a block.
well, he's made Ryan relocate it. I'm not necessarily certain if that was because of the Explorer. Perhaps it was because his opponent is up so late or something like that. Maybe he noticed that that Naruto was late aging, and as a result of that, or perhaps H2O was really early aging as a result of all of the food treasures he picked up. But either way, that town center has been moved more aggressively towards another hunt rate, covering more resources, more of the map. And that's going to be really strong because he's denying resources to his opponent on this small map.
Yeah, absolutely. So Red really he's going to be on a bit of a timer here, as he's only really got one hunt kind of to his southeast of the base that he can really get from that now. But I just in terms of strategies, I kind of expecting to see H2O probably just do a semi-FFE. He's going to make a few musketeers just kind of to secure his trading post. Maybe poke in a little bit, see what's up, but then I expect him to head on up to the third age pretty promptly after that.
Yeah, and you can see exactly that happening, right? 700 coin is his first shipment, which he's using to make a couple of musks, but also grab all of the resources that he'll need to get up to the next stage, go for the fortress age. But and there's 700 wood as well for perhaps the infrastructure and the housing that he'll need in the second age. Maybe he'll lay down a second trading post.
Yeah.
And a stagecoach. Of course, he did see his opponent hit up to the next stage quite late in H2O. A very perceptive player is likely to notice something like that. We do see a stable coming out of him, but either way, musketeers have been trained from the racks. Now, moving on to the Explorer. Did you notice that? He shoots the Explorer, and then during the reload animation, moves them closer towards the Explorer there. And all of this HP really counts. If he can take that Explorer out, it means like there's going to be no random damage that's going on to the Explorer rather than these musks where they absolutely need to be doing damage. He's taken out that unit early on, and that absolutely does count. So,
exactly, yeah. The Explorer is one of probably the most underrated unit in Age 2 combat, at least in the first 5 minutes or so.
Big sponge, isn't he?
If not just for the sponge, but also the fact that you can snare units, which is especially important in musketeer battles. If you're down in musketeers and you get snared, you're probably going to lose another 5 or 6, and it's so bad.
So, the British player, let's take a look what he's up to here. 700 and 600 wood have been shipped. And as a result of that, going to be building lots of manors. I do quite like this because all of the manors going down. Yes, the 5 villages might be more efficient, but this does give him a lot of build XP, which is going to aid his shipment progression. We do see some musketeers a little bit out of position, perhaps. 5 longbows come in. It's not too bad, but I don't think he's going to be able to escape there. He sees the longbowman and then decides to retreat, but taking one last pot shot on the way out there. Looks like he's going to group up with these 5 musks that have just been trained and then continue fighting. But getting a little bit caught around the trading post. I can hear him shouting at that already. Well, I can't.
Yeah, he definitely is. But I think that was, even still, that was cost effective for him. I think he took out 3 or 4 musketeers, maybe, and only lost 1 there. And if you've noticed, he's put up 2 little wall segments next to his town centre. So he is taking this 100% really seriously.
Yeah, That's
really
a really nice wall, though, because on one side of it, there's these trees. So any fighting in there is, perhaps you've got these to kind of block off natural blockage, kind of. And then below that is the trading post and the racks as well. So, if Minutemen have to be called, you're just making it really difficult for the British player there for, walling absolutely. Does come in, almost takes out a villager, but H2O, as you can see, being very, very proactive with his with his musketeers. But speaking of cavalry, I'm not sure what happened. Did you notice these two monks?
Yeah, so they haven't got anything done, and it looks like
H2O splitting up his cab, trying to catch them. Really, really nicely done there. Does manage to get those 2 Cossacks, and it's all the small things, right? We saw him going for that Explorer, took out a couple of muskets in that first engagement, and look, even still pursuing that final cav, everything matters to H2O. He's going to catch it, and he's going to pick up all of these small things and snowball it into that victory there, presumably. But the British economy is doing rather well, wouldn't you say? Look at that, 37 38 unit population compared to H2O's 29. So British, if left to its own devices, is going to be, the longer this goes, the more favour of that is going to go to the British player. Equally, though, Portugal does have 2 shipments stacked up and presumably will be in the Fortress Age and putting on the pressure soon. So not too much to worry about. But what do you make of these 2 things?
The thing I'm worrying about most for Red is, have a look at his resources. They are going to run out in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to try and develop a timing around that. And I suppose he also knows H2O is going to try and go up to the Fortress Age, so maybe he can use that as well. That the fact that H2O is going to spend maybe 2,000 resources in tech and he knows his own resources are
Yeah.
going to run out. I think he should try and make a timing around those 2 points, and maybe he can catch H2O off guard. Unlikely, but I mean, just look at his hunts. Where's he going to go once his town centre run out?
Yeah.
He's got nothing.
And they're all dead, right? Like, they're all decaying as well. There's no food really here. Muskets do come in
Getting
and
some vills.
yeah, take out 2 vills. They're making that vill disparity go up even further. So, you know, nicely moving these muskets around. But now they are a bit, maybe they're getting a bit greedy now. They're coming back in to do some damage. And by the looks of it, H2O trying to keep the Musks interested with his Explorer in time for his cavalry and his musket army to reach these 5 Musks so that he can perhaps pick them off. Hoping perhaps that those musketeers will turn around and shoot the Explorer there, so they'll stay in that area and perhaps he can catch up with
one's got snared now. Oh, nice by Naruto though. He recognises one musketeer's dead, and he
leaves
saves
it
his other 5.
to perhaps get away. But you can see H2O heading them off with his musket army there. He's going around this Huron settlement. He knows how this is going to play out and where they're probably going to end up. But H2O, whatever is happening, now up to the Fortress Age. His first shipment in queue has 1.5 extra as well. Look at that. Does eventually manage to pick up these final musks, picking up all of the small things there. He says nice. Even Naruto recognizes.
You can appreciate that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
But was it worth it then? Like, just for the 2 vills, and I'm not sure if it was. 1,000 wood does arrive from H2O, recognizes that perhaps he can take this a bit more slowly and just go for the super efficient shipments rate. He is taking a fight right now, trying to get out.
Yeah, H2O, he doesn't need to do anything right now.
Yeah, especially sending 1,000 wood, right? That's quite slow.
Yeah, if he wanted to play this by the book, all he needs to do now is just defend, stay behind his third town centre. I mean, you can see his third town centre up top.
Look at this map control, right? He's just dumped the TCs on top of the hunts, and now there is truly nothing. Naruto on his last couple of hunts, but I really, really like the town centre placement. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, wow, yeah, you can even see Naruto sent a villager to the back of his base in kind of desperation. I think he was hoping there might have been a hunt there.
No hunt.
Or either that, or he's going to try and build a dock, which we don't usually see on this map, but there are some fish, and that might be his only source of food.
Look at all of the resources Naruto's stacking up, though. He's got basically all the resources he needs to hit up to the next age.
I think I would have liked to have seen him try and go for that timing when his resources run out, but it looks like he's going to go up to Fortress, follow H2O up to Fortress instead, and we'll see how that works out for him.
In comes H2O with a Cazador and Musket army. Does take out a villager there. Can he move on to the next one? You can see him walking slightly forward during all of the reload animations. Now the longbows are here. I'm sure he'll get back out. But look at the shipment order coming out from these
I was just seeing that. It's just crates, and more crates.
Yeah, and nothing but villagers from... I'll move these up there. Wow, 1,000 food as well. I only just noticed that as well because of the... I'll put the shipments being sent on the larger tab so I can see it a bit more easily, and I'll put units in queue on the first one. But just nothing but crates. What do you make of this? Is this just a case of I have all of the map control, I am up to the Fortress Age and have this tech advantage, I'm just going to send all of the extremely efficient resource crates, well, I'm not sure about the food, and then just go in once I've spent all of the resources on military and upgrades, and then just completely crush. This is the safest, most flavorless way to do it, and that's H2O style through and through, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the only time that you need to ship units are if you're going to use them. So if H2O is planning on doing a big push, then he needs to ship units. Or if he says scouted that Naruto is going to push him, then he needs to ship units. Otherwise, crates and unit upgrades are always going to be the best.
Yeah, like he has those 2 town centers, right, and he can just pop Minutemen if and when his opponent does push out for the food, because he's going to need food at some point. And H2O is probably wondering.
He's gone for the dock, by the way.
Yeah,
he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because he doesn't have access to hunts. H2O has made sure of that, has put these 2 town centers there, has access to the Minutemen there, can ship unit shipments to those town centers should he need to, and in the meantime he's just going to take it slow and steady. And as a result of him switching over to wood here, he doesn't have schooners, so this is a horrible economic, like in the short term, this is really, really bad, and just means H2O going to be completely fine. He's probably wondering where the food, what he's doing for food. He's waiting for him to push out, but of course Naruto is not pushing out. He does come in with a few cavalry, but by the looks of it, the wall is there, and as a result of that, H2O able to get a few villagers away, so that's not really going to achieve anything. What is going on here? Economic theory coming down. H2O just sitting here and waiting.
He's just playing it by the book. Like we said, he's playing it super seriously. He's not gonna He's not going to take any risks whatsoever, and so he doesn't need to ship units right now unless he wants to make a push. So he's just getting his upgrades, unit upgrades, eco upgrades, and he's even found Naruto's one villager in the top right.
Yeah,
really sneaky, getting some food. He even found that. So that was the one thing I think Naruto had going for him, his one villager.
Yeah, and now as a result of this, like, just containing his opponent here and slowly eking out, you know, H2O on the hunt about animals which are efficient, is going to get him further ahead. And as this game goes on, he has 3 town centers, just going to get further and further ahead. And British, as you mentioned, probably ought to have gone for that timing earlier, and as a result does not have access to the hunts now because he didn't push out for them, and has moved on to the very inefficient fishing ships and mills, and as a result that's going to get much further behind more quick. Well, H2 is going to get much further ahead more quickly, and I think what we're just going to see is more of the same, just more waiting until a point where he's so far ahead that there is no doubt that he could ever lose no matter what he does.
Pretty much. We might see him actually ship Marmalukes, and you kind of use that as his timing to go in. Yeah, he does it. So Marmalukes got reduced from 5 Marmalukes to 4 Marmalukes, yeah, but most people still consider it an okay enough of a card to have it, and it can certainly swing fights. So maybe that's his plan right now. He's going to wait for either that or a unit shipment, and then he probably will push in.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he has more coin than anything else here. 2 Falconets do arrive from Naruto. And if there ever were a time now in this game to push back out, it'd be now, but I cannot see that ever resulting in a victory here.
Here we go, though.
Yeah, we do. Here we go. Cavalry coming in. They're going to engage on the longbowmen exactly where he wants them to be, getting the Cazadors out of range of the 2 Falconets, which of course are really good against those. They don't have very many hit points. The cavalry are being attacked by the Dragoons, and they're going to melt away pretty quickly as well. The Falconets adequately dealt with by the veteran Hussars, and now the more unit principle just kicks in. Minutemen are called, but a little too late. Dragoons getting out.
There's a lot of longbows still left, though, and their longbow are really good in a defensive position with that range. They've got the card on them, the human upgrades, so they can certainly trade with these Cazadors.
Yeah, they can, and I think that's why he got the Dragoons out. He didn't want to take double damage from that. But here, you know, now that all of H2O's cavalry is gone, he can't fight those longbowmen, and he is now going to have to get out there. But if Mamelukes is his next shipment, which he does have 1,000 gold for, doesn't have the shipment available just yet. Either way, though, economic unit population is quite far ahead in terms of H2O. Score is quite far ahead in terms of H2O. And even if that fight didn't, you know, cripple Red just yet.
Yeah, as Naruto, I'd be feeling a bit helpless by now. I'm not entirely sure what he can do from here, really. I mean, H2O is he's gonna reinforce with Hussar at least if he's not gonna ship Marmalukes. And yeah, no, I don't know what Naruto can do. He's in a world of trouble right now. He's going to put up some cute wall segments, which is actually going to make it hard to get to the longbows because they do have the longer range than Cazadors. So I suppose he can just kind of max out on longbows and just sit there and hope maybe Ryan trades away too much of his army. There's always a possibility.
There is that possibility, and I don't know, maybe he can get to... Maybe the game stays like this for so long that British gets to 99 villages, and so does Portugal, but British has some fishing boats extra as well, and as a result of that gets some... Like, I mean, like, it is possible, though I think we're grasping at straws here. I think what H2O is aiming to do now is boost his cavalry army so he can go back in again, but with these longbowmen behind the walls in this defensive position, that might be quite tough to get into at any rate. What do you think of organ guns? They're not... I wonder if they're even... Well, they're probably in his deck, but as a shipment, they're not really the best, at least compared to Falconets. Perhaps...
No, and just in general, I think H2O prefers the more mobile army, so he's not really someone who goes artillery too often. He may ship the 2 organ guns, but I think he likes the mobility of the Hussars.
Here we go, though. Cavalry are going to be able to get onto the longbowmen, and that's exactly what H2O wants. Just a few of these longbowmen... a few cavalry is going to make it really hard for these longbowmen. It's going to tear through them. The Dragoons now coming off that house and being tasked onto the longbowmen as well. And I think we'll see the GG any moment now.
Yeah, it's a shame his longbow got caught out in front of the walls, actually.
Yeah, if they were behind the walls, it certainly would have gone a lot better for him. Would have been much more difficult for the cavalry to get into position. And there weren't really that many cavalry there. So sadly not being able to use those walls, but a decisive victory coming in from H2O with a very safe Very effective style after what we saw a really, really nice Age 1. Got up nice and quickly with all those food crates and dumped that town center down on top of the hunts and progressed onwards to pick up some really nice small things, etching out bits of score here and there and rolling that into a win, as you can see. Not letting that British player ever get up to a point where he can really walk out and take the hunts, and as a result of that can safely win the game by sitting back and
Yeah, and I mean that's what we are expecting here, kind of a decisive win for H2O in the first game. I mean anything less from the previous champion would have raised some questions, but no, he played that by the book. I mean that was just perfectly executed, really, and yeah, he goes up 1-0 in this series. It's a best of 3, so Naruto he's still got a chance to come back.
Yeah, but game number 1 does go to H2O. Me and Wicked Cossack will be right back. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to grab a glass of water. We'll see you in just a moment.
After months at sea, we arrived in this strange new world.
We shall claim this territory in the name of the Empire.
The deadliest battle I've ever witnessed. We prepare for another death battle. I pray that I will live to see the end.
My life is a small sacrifice for Wicked. We will do whatever it takes to make this new world ours.
Age of Empires 3, rated T for teen, in stores now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 3 series between H2O and Naruto for the round of 64. This is the Autumn Championships for 2016, brought to you by ESO-community.net. H2O picking up the first game, and is now going to be picking India by the looks of it. Naruto still on British. By the looks of it, he went away AFK just for a moment, but he'll be back, and I wonder what civ he will pick. What do you think? What do you think we're going to see?
Well, I mean, so H2O, he's picked India, which is it's a civilization very dear to my heart. As you can see, I've already got India picked, my favorite civilization.
Yeah.
But I mean, so it's because of the map, right? So Cascade Range, it doesn't have any trading posts. So he's gone for the mirror. Wow, he's got some balls on him.
Yeah, mirroring H2O in anything is going to be a bad time, perhaps. H2O possibly one of the strongest players currently, and very, very strong mechanically, so is always looking to mirror you. That's what he wants to do, because he knows he is, perhaps going to be stronger and going to be able to do everything you can do, but better. But actually, switching now to Russia, perhaps he misclicked. Those two civs have a very similar colored flag. India versus Russia on Cascade Range by the looks of it. What do you make of Russia here? I mean, as you mentioned, no trading post, perhaps. And both civilizations okay with that. H2O picking India on Cascade Range. In this particular tournament, the format is that they pick the winner picks the civilization first, and then as a result of that, Naruto gets the more favorable pick, because afterwards he gets to choose his civilization, and perhaps he can engineer himself a favorable matchup against India if he has a civ that hard counters it. But H2O is no joke, and obviously is going to pick a civ that will do probably quite well against anything Naruto pick. Won't pick a civ that has any hard counters given the map, and Cascade Range, I think, is a good map for India. Why is that? Do you want to tell us about why he's picked that?
Well, I am curious why he's picked it, because he himself has kind of said that maybe India's not as strong as it used to be. He's certainly downplayed India's strengths in the recent months or so. But I mean, Cascade Range, it doesn't have many hunts. The mines that it does have, they're only 1,500 coin. And India, their main resource is wood, so they're not too worried about. Well, I mean, they will be worried about mines and hunts, but less so than certain other civilizations. So they can get by on less resources. And also the big Agra fort, you just slam that down in the middle. And because it's a narrow map, you'll notice when we load in, it's got 2 little lakes on the side. That makes it there's 3 choke points in the middle, and the Agra fort can take down one of those choke points really easily. So there's a few little features which help out India here. But I kind of thought maybe he'd go Japan instead, but India it is.
What is our final map?
Our final map is Bahia, California. I'm not entirely sure if you say it Baja or Bahia.
I think it's Baja, California. But
okay.
Either way, I know what map you are talking about, and perhaps Japan is being saved for that map if we're going to get there. H2O, all he does need to do is win this series, and win this match, and he does progress through. But always perhaps worth considering, or maybe he does think, maybe he's been downplaying India, and maybe he doesn't actually think that. I don't know. Either way, India possibly quite strong on this map. They don't need a lot of food, and there isn't actually that many hunts on Cascade Range. All of the sort of food patches you can see on the minimap, a lot of them are actually just berry bushes, which India doesn't need as much food, so the hunts are effectively going to last longer for them in a way, which is going to be really nice. And as you can see, of these Klamath settlements, the Agra fort, you can slam that down in the middle there, and as you were mentioning, these 2 ponds on the side. The Agra fort is going to be really nice on a map like this, where you can use it to effectively cut the map off and use it as a for really, really good map control on this, what is actually a sort of kind of closed off map. But here he is, H2O, in the right hand side of the map in the color blue, playing as indeed India. Control Shift F is on, and we do have some explorers sort of scouting each other out in the early portion. Sadly for us, no treasures nearby for them to fight over. But by the looks of it, he's going to come across 40 wood. H2 are going to be really pleased with that wood. Really, really especially good for India. But Naruto not finding really anything useful at the moment. Just picked up 10 coin and another 10 coin that were in his base. And really, there's not anything nearby for him to get. There really isn't any treasures at all nearby.
Well, that's also actually one of the other reasons why civs like India and Japan are picked regularly on this map, is because you start off with 2 explorers, and on this map there are only tier 1 treasures. So you've got your coin treasures, you've got your wood treasures, and there's the 50 food treasure as well. So just having those 2 explorers gives you a pretty good age 1 compared to just a single Russian explorer.
I see. Yeah, it gives you the ability to move around the map and pick up all of these relatively small treasures that are guarded by very, very, not particularly strong guardians. So I can see why two explorers would be really good there. So there is that. India, good choice for that reason. What do you think Russia can do against India here?
Well, I mean, Russia actually has pretty similar strengths to India in that he can also take map control with the blockhouse. So what would actually be really interesting is if we see kind of the Agra fort and the blockhouse go up next to each other, and then this could turn into a really aggressive game with both players being forced to kind of ship all their unit shipments and see who can take down the other player's blockhouse. But we'll see how they choose to play it.
We will, absolutely. But not much going on at the moment. Both players kind of nearby, but there's not going to be a treasure contention there. Just going about, doing their own thing, picking up the small treasures, and ultimately collecting the food they need to age up. And,
Yeah. And just one other tiny nuance to mention as well as why India is kind of popular on this map is the market upgrades for the Asian civilizations. The market upgrade that gets you the imperial bureaucracy, and the one that you get the upgrade for all, that also upgrades berries, which European civilizations don't have. So that's just another minor thing. But anyway, we see H2O's villager going forward, so it kind of indicates he's going to get his Agra up right in the middle.
Yeah, but by the looks of it though, Russia is going to get the age up in queue sooner. Does now have age 1 in queue by the looks of it. Yeah, as you can see, both players sending distributivism. One of the rare times you'll actually see both players doing that. Of course, neither of these civilizations have the villager shipment, but there is that.
Yeah. So let's see where
that agrifort goes.
where is it going?
That's the good question.
Really
Fairly
defensive.
Yeah, that's. And maybe that is a response to, there being a lot of food near in this location. You've got 2 hunts either side of the agrifort, which you can herd onto it. The berries just behind it, and the town center as well. So, because the town center and the agrifort are so close, that's going to give quite a nice defense against Russia. Perhaps in H2O's mind, the only thing that could catch him off guard here is something incredibly aggressive, some crazy early age up, and some 13 Strelot, 5 Cossack, 4 Cossack kind of aggro bullshit agenda. And that, because really, what else are you going to do? You really got to throw H2O off guard. So he's going to play very, very safe here. And even though perhaps that aggro fort can get more value further out, he's going to put it very defensively for the reasons I just mentioned. 2 villagers coming forward. I really want to point that out. He brings 2 villagers from the wood that are close to the blockhouse over to finish off the agrifort, and the villager that was on the agrifort a bit further up to build that market there, which is going to provide some line of sight and also going to perhaps sponge up some damage. If his opponent wants to see something, that's there.
Yeah, usually we get berry bushes spawning in the middle as well, but perhaps H2O also, he kind of saw that and thought there's actually no resources in the middle. All this blockhouse is protecting is maybe some trees. So he kind of thought, well, there's not actually much to be gained by putting it there. But I kind of agree with your assessment that he's decided that he's figured out the main way he could lose is kind of Russia just going all in. So why not play defensive?
Yeah. There is certainly that. And also I just want to point out the market adds a bit of sort of defense in terms of blocking stuff off as well, and splitting units up is another reason perhaps why it's been put forward there. Always sort of the spongy building. But we do see some musketeers in queue at the blockhouse there. H2O only just hitting up to the next age there, so is a little bit further behind his opponent in terms of age time, and as a result of that, the Russian shipment's going to be coming out sooner as well. I'm not quite sure what he's up to, but by the looks of it, this is not so... we'll have to see what his first shipment is as to what he has in mind.
Well, I expect we're going to see 5 Cossacks from Red, and H2O is probably going to ship the 600 wood. Oh, 13 Strelets.
13
Interesting.
Strelets. That is, yeah. I do like the 5 Cossacks as well in terms of resource efficiency. That's 750 resource in a shipment. It's absolutely incredible. And 13 Strelets, they're taking up 10 wood each because of the housing that they, they're 13 population, and you need like 130 wood. Is what I mean. So perhaps not as efficient as the 5 Cossacks, but they do have range, and they are good against these 2 Sepoy, right? Taking lots of damage from that aggro fort, which does have aggro
damage. It looks scarier and sounds scarier than it is. I think Red he kind of needs to just jam his Strelets in there and kind of just treat them as expendable units and just see what damage he can get done, see if he can pick off villagers.
But as a result, if you're gonna walk in, you want to commit to it, right? Because if you keep walking in and out, shake it all about, every time you walk in and out, the aggro fort is gonna do some splash damage. So is the town center. If you're going to walk in, you want to commit to that and see what you can do. And as you can see here, walking in and doesn't really scare very many villagers away, and they're able to get back to work very, very quickly. And plenty of hunts behind his base, and obviously there's 2 which are not very far away. Well, actually, one of the hunts is strayed quite far from the aggro fort. Maybe he can, but either way, there's enough hunt for H2O here, and he's going with the more economic build here. 600 wood coming down, consulate now being added in, and as a result of this, over time, I think you can see Naruto recognizing that his aggressive push isn't going to work out perhaps too well, and as a result of that, slowing down, going to send the more economic, more sensible shipment. That's 700 wood. He's not committing so all in into this aggro pressure, but does have a sizable number of units. But I guess they are Russian units, and that is one of the things Russia is able to do. Starting to siege the town center. What do you make of this, Wicked Cossack?
Well, I think he could have got more damage done early on, actually. If he'd studied, maybe if he'd seen a few India games from H2O, he'd know that H2O always...
there comes some centuries, and taking a lot of damage. He's now snared by the elephants, and obviously got Gurkhas and muskets in there as well. And
he's going to get a villager.
He is going to get a villager, but he's lost a lot of these. Nice stomp there. They're going to be blocked for a moment. Look at that, just melting away. And I think Russia not in a good spot. Some Strelage joining the fight, but held, I think, unnecessarily losing some units, sieging that town center. And as you mentioned, as you were pointing out, perhaps didn't get as much damage done as he needed to. Another stomp there.
Yeah, those stomps are only supposed to hit on a 10% chance, but I think he's gotten a bit lucky with those crucial stomps.
Rolling the dice.
Yeah, but that was held very nicely. I think maybe he only lost one villager there, which I mean that's fine really. Because India will now be way ahead in.
Yeah, one villager for that entire army. I think he's completely fine with that. And now, as we can see, has sent the export shipment and is with the Ottoman consulate, so is able to send 4 villagers as well and get his economy nice and going. And I think what we'll see is just a repeat of what happened last game. Now he's able to get economically further. Well.
Possibly,
what do you think will happen?
This time it's slightly different because Naruto arguably has more map control. So H2O, he's going to have to kind of create or develop some sort of mid-game timing. He doesn't need to go anytime soon. He's still got quite a few mines. He can even use the berry bushes. But Naruto, I mean, he's even starting to build a wall as well. So H2O, he can't just sit here like he did last game for the entire time. He's gonna have to make a play at some point. It doesn't have to be soon, but he's gonna have to be on his mind. He's gonna have to start thinking about it, especially if he starts scouting these walls as well. We got another one going up on the right hand side of the map. So Naruto's really trying to secure his own resources.
Yeah, he's trying to lock them down, but it does make me nervous because this is wood spent on a wall. He's playing defensively, but really. The player that's going to benefit the most from that kind of play is H2O. You know, he's got that foreign logging coming down as well. If you take a look at the upgrades, he's researched Imperial, Bureaucracy, and all of the other the techs as well, Hunting Eagles, of course, and then Professional Hunters. He's also got his 4 settlers out, and the economic unit population is really favouring the Indian player here. Now got the next age in queue, by the looks of it. If any time... This is right. Russia needs to put on some pressure now if he really wants to do some lasting damage, right? This is where H2 has invested 2,200 resources into, well, that aren't doing anything just yet. He's aging up.
But Naruto, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that he's aging. I think he should. Know. I think he should have been maybe a bit more aggressive with his Cossacks. As long as they don't get caught, he can try and poke in, and you can, even if you don't kill any villagers with the Cossacks, you get a sense of what's going on. And he probably would have seen that H2O's army hasn't grown in the last 2 or 3 minutes. He maybe even would have seen the wonder. So he's kind of a bit in the dark, and I think when H2O hits the Fortress Age, he might actually be a bit surprised. And it might trigger him to push in or make a bad decision. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and at that point, maybe it will be too late once he's hit up.
Yeah.
He's going to have access to those stronger units. Well, stronger upgrades.
Yeah, and he's aging up
and
with the
shipments as well.
I think he's going for the Tower of Victory, I believe that's called. So he gets 800 wood. And one of the main problems with India when you go up to the Fortress Age...
He's going to see it now. Go ahead.
Oh, he's going to see it, yeah. Yeah, one of the main problems with India is that you've got to upgrade all your units. The Gurkhas don't automatically upgrade like the European skirmishers. Your Zambruks, because you get them in age early, you have to upgrade them as well. And they just cost so much wood. So that's one of the reasons why he's gone for the Tower of Victory here. He gets 800 wood. So all his upgrades, he should be able to get them. Or maybe he'll spend it on a town centre. Don't know.
Yeah. That's, well, certainly right now, we just 3 houses coming down. Population is currently... So what does this suggest? If he's building houses, that means he has the agenda of building a whole bunch of units then, and then pushing out, which might be what he needs to do to secure some extra resources. I mean, he does have some hunt still down here.
Naruto's going to follow him up, by the way. I just noticed he shipped 700 coin. Naruto's he's gonna go for age 3, which actually I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, after Naruto kind of botched the early game, I've actually liked how he's played out this last 5 minutes or so. He's definitely got his map control, and I mean, even though he lost a lot of army early on, we got to remember Naruto. He didn't actually lose any of his economy. Like all his villages were still there. I think he's still got all his market tax. So if he can just hold out a bit longer, suddenly the game evens up again. And Russia, it can always fight behind in economy. It's not a civ that you're up in economy usually. Yeah. Oh wow! Have you seen this? That is very unusual.
A dock going down without, by the looks of it, schooners. That is, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't schooner on this map because of the number of fish.
Yeah, there's not enough. Well, that's why it's unusual. Like docking it even at all. Like these being 100 wood each, and the dot costing that initial 200 wood, they take an enormous amount of time to actually pay off. It's surprisingly long how long a fishing boat takes to work out. But over the course of the game, yeah, that is gonna benefit him. I wonder how many is optimal to build though, given that there aren't actually that many fish, and then once all the fish on one side do run out, you can't transfer them over to the other side. Looks like we do have the disciplined Howder going into siege on the wall, which I found was rather amusing.
The Howder are going to be really annoying actually, because compared to normal Dragoons, the Howder have got 2 more range.
Yeah.
And Russia, their Strelets, they're not like normal skirmishers. They actually have a really short range. So the Howder actually outrange the Strelet.
Yeah, and look at this, right? Like, he's managed to take down the whole wall, because if you just have a single unit targeting any segment of the wall all along it, if you have one unit on each different bit of wall, all of the damage spreads across the whole wall, and you can take down the whole wall, which is exactly what he's done there. And yeah, as you were mentioning, how they're going to be particularly irritating for Strele because of the lack of range. But what is happening right now? He's pushing out with these with large amounts of Howder. Cossacks coming in, they're not going to be too effective against them. It doesn't look, it looks fairly even, but it's not even because Howder are so many population.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to lose his small C-point Gurkha mass, but these Howder are quite
that's
days.
Yeah. Strele do pop out though, and that might be enough to trigger H2O to get back out of here. By the looks of it, is targeting down Strele, so that...
These Howder are just so strong though, yeah, it looks like he hasn't got much, but each of these Howder are probably worth, 10, 15 Strelets by themselves.
Yeah. 867 hit points, 72 ranged attack. Compare that to one of these muskets that has 120 HP, like, there's like 8 muskets worth of HP there.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't point out if you looked at the H2O's back Howder, they're all the Howder with the low HP, so he's been trying to keep them alive for as long as possible.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely right. That one at the back there, staying out of the combat, keeping and using its range to just fight over the top, whilst all of the ones on the front take the damage. Has managed now to take out both of the block houses, and is going to move on to this stable as well, using the siege elephants, and is just really piling on the pressure. We do see veteran Strele coming out, which is exactly what he needs to make, but as a result of the range and the speed these things have, could still be.
He needs 100 Strelets, man. He needs 150 Strelets. No, I mean, he's down quite a lot in score. I suppose Russia is one of the civilizations that can be down in score quite a bit, but I mean,
well, 100 score is even if you can be down in score a little bit, I think that's a bit too much. And obviously, Russia does often go down in score a bit because of their always having things in queue because they train in batches of 5. What's going on?
I think he's having a bit of fun now.
Where did he get those from? Did he train them with the Ottoman consulate?
The British consulate, actually.
Oh, the British one.
Yeah.
What do they... I mean, like, it's actually quite effective because of the way healing works in Age of Empires 3. All units heal at the same rate, I believe. So, units with more HP get effectively healed for more HP, because if everything heals at the same rate, like the rate of healing here on a high HP unit like a Howder is really, really efficient. So maybe it's actually worthwhile when you're going for mass Howder build. I think that actually, maybe this is a build that he's been saving up. Maybe it's something he wanted to do.
Yeah, I think it is. I think him and Ace have been discussing this actually recently, and I think Ace said it's only worth it if you can heal up mechanics.
Yeah.
But also good for high HP units. And look, another Howder going back, 43 HP.
Yeah, he's going off to the two surgeons in the back. Yeah. Like, this is like, oh, this is wonderful.
I mean, he should go the full hog and just build one of the medicine tents. I forget what they're called.
Yeah. Medicine tent. Oh,
yeah, it's not called medicine tent, but
yeah, because
is it?
I don't know, a field hospital, I think it's called, but it's really wonderful to see because the Strele, obviously, they can't catch up with the Howder. The Howder have more speed, so when they get low on health, providing you're very careful, you can just get them out of range. You can just run them away, and there's no way there's no way Russia will ever catch them, and then you just go to safety and heal up. So whilst we're seeing the Surgeon is an unusual unit to see in any game of Age of Empires 3, in this particular match, I think it is definitely optimal.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do when you get to this amount of Howders, because the Strelet, which is supposed to be the counter unit, as you said, it's slower, it's got less range, I mean, the only thing you can do is kind of overwhelm him, but his economy is not in a position where he can just flood, 150 strutters and keep massing them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Naruto's kind of just enjoying his last few minutes, really, is what he's trying to get out of this.
Yeah. And it's just funny to watch Strele technically being the counter, but
They're almost getting one-shotted, aren't they?
Yeah, like, well, these things have 72... How much... They are being 2 hit, actually. But
2 hit, yeah.
It's just very, very amusing to watch.
Wow. They're just melting.
Yeah, we do see, though, some Appreciatics hitting the board, I believe, somewhere. I did see them in queue.
Yep, they're over here.
So this could perhaps be a saving grace. If H2O is tunnel visioning on these elephants, trying to pick off all the low HP ones and be super cool and fancy about it, or maybe he doesn't notice these Cossacks come in with the miracle raid and destroy every villager under the sun. He's
got a good.
That is a nice raid.
Base. Yeah.
I wonder if H2O will notice. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't, because then
because
he's paying. Yeah, but I think like the problem is, even if he doesn't notice, even if he does kill every single villager here, I think he has enough Howder, and if he continues this, just healing them up all the time, he'll be absolutely fine. By the looks of it, villagers coming forward.
Villager pull on the Howder. Yeah.
It's just not going to work though. There's so many Howder here now that I don't think they can be stopped, given that he is carefully taking them. There's no unit that Russia has that can deal with them, given that he keeps killing the Strelets as they arrive. He couldn't mass up enough of them, and even if he could, he's being very careful, healing them all up. And because you can't really ever get that many Howder, I don't think it's too difficult to handle, that many Howder, right? There's only, how many units there? There can't be more than 20 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. 14 Howder, right? In that group there. So managing 14 units at any one time is not particularly taxing. So that's actually quite nice. I wonder how viable this is, and I wonder if we'll see anything like this in the future. It's definitely very interesting. I enjoyed that particular match.
It was good, yeah. I mean, so in theory, it sounds really good, right? That the Howder outranges the Strela. It's faster. It kind of sounds really imbalanced. But I think the one thing that could tip it in Russia's favor is just when Russia gets so much stuff that you kind of overwhelm your 4 or 5 Howder when you're just starting out.
Yeah, and you never get a mass very large.
Yeah, you never get that critical mass where, I mean, at the moment he's just got enough that he can eat just kite for days and kill everything. Nothing's gonna stop that many Howder.
Yeah, at this point, nothing stops this many Howder. But earlier on, the Howder walk back. One's really low on HP, and your whole Russian army follows them down. And then maybe you find the surgeons, you can certainly shoot those or something like that. Or eventually, if you keep following the Howder, you push them into a corner or something like that. Or maybe you could flank them, have 2 batches of Strela either side, and something like that. I think what we're seeing here, whilst it does look really, really crazy, that's because Naruto wasn't prepared for it. And I think perhaps H2O certainly, the stronger player here. But that, ladies and gentlemen, does conclude game number 2 in this best of 3 series. The score is 2-0 in H2O's favor, and as a result of that, H2O does progress through to the round of 32, and Naruto is eliminated. Thank you very much for watching. This tournament has been brought to you by ESO-community.net. We host seasonal tournaments with cash prizes. Do consider leaving a donation on this stream. All donations do go to the prize pool for future events. My name has been Interjection, casting alongside...
WickedCossack.
Excellent. We will be back with the next match in just a moment. We're going to take a short break, grab some water, those kind of things. See you in a bit.